guys, welcome to the very first episode, and hopefully it's not horrible, of the Dirt Exchange podcast. I'm Chris, alongside my much older, but a little bit wiser co-host Pat, aka the Dirk.
You got it, Chris. You got her. Eons older. Thank you. Welcome to the Dirt Exchange, guys and gals, and I'm excited to get this off and running off the ground here.
You know, we talked about doing a podcast for so long, but the problem is there's millions of them out there, so we need to find a way to make ourselves stand out from everybody else. So obviously, being in the heart of Nebraska, the thing that drives our country is the farmers in the ag world. So we want to do a real unfiltered, well, semi-unfiltered. You know, there is a chance that my mother-in-law may listen to this. So that's what we're going to do, and hopefully everybody enjoys it.
And I'll tell you, man, the ag industry is about as real and unfiltered as it gets.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people realize the impact that the farmers, the ranchers, the dealerships in the ag world have on our you know, our economy. It's really the driving force. You know, these guys buy everything retail and sell it wholesale. You know, so they're hardworking people, and you know, hats off to them.
And I know there are a lot of stressed farmers right now at this time. You know, with the crazy flooding and rain we've had going on this spring, and heck, into the early summer. It's just not letting up.
Well, we had this thing set up to tape and film, and had a flash rain come through and had to pull it all in and reset it all up. But you know, it's right now, I think in the country we're 60, maybe 65% planted for corn right now.
That's what they're saying.
I know there's a lot of guys that are, you know, kind of frustrated with that, but good news is there are people going. Fields are planted, much like the one behind there. There's going to be some replants, but I was reading an article the other day that a lot of these guys that are doing replants or have not gotten their crop in yet are switching to a grain sorghum to subsidize what they're doing. It's a lot cheaper per acre to do. I think about averages $13.50 for seed per acre compared to the $85.50 for corn. And there's a good byproduct from that is that the way the roots are formulated and dig way down deep, they actually help provide a better yield for the corn and the cotton and the beans that are coming in afterwards for the following years. So,
you know, it might be a heck of a strategy. It might be a heck of a strategy for their business model. I mean, it's just everyone has to cater to their business.
Yeah.
So,
you know,
good point, Chris.
Another hot topic in this world today is Russia. But we're not going to go into what everybody's been hearing about. What have you heard about Russia?
Well, it's amazing. I was listening to well, not listening, but I was reading an article the other day, and it kind of amazed me. You know, being that they're predicting, you know, market conditions to be up and down and topsy-turvy and so forth, but Russia, the good point you brought it up, Chris, is they're really hot right now, and they're a big wheat producer, and their wheat's burning up.
Yeah.
And you know, the U.S. is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, I think, exporter.
I think it is, yeah.
Out to those countries, or out to Russia and so forth, and Europe, but. I think, you know, the point to this story is in the next 30 to 45 days, we're going to see wheat rebound over our corn and beans.
Yeah, and I know wheat's a huge deal. I was actually just talking to a guy in Illinois, and it kind of surprised me because there's not a whole lot of wheat around here. We're mainly big row crop stuff, corn, beans, that type of thing. But he's like 3-4 days away from starting his wheat harvest.
That's what I've heard.
Hopefully they have a good crop, and
it sounds like they're gonna have a good crop.
Yeah,
that's the way it sounds. Talking to these farmers,
and I think a lot of it is that winter wheat that they had going on has done real well.
That's reports I've read too.
Yep.
So,
since this is a new show, people are probably going to wonder, what's the structure? What are we going to do? Well, I think it'd be a good idea. We talk about some of the pressing issues that farmers or dealerships or ranchers are running into. And then also, have some guys on here that have some expertise in this industry, some good, knowledgeable guys. I know I have a lot of good customers down in the southern part of the states, and they're pretty good cards. So it'll be fun to have them on and just talk about things that actually matter and affect everything.
And a good point there, that matter. And we are going to make this matter. We are going to talk about market trends too. Not only market trends in the agriculture business, but market trends that will apply to someone's business.
Yeah.
These are business owners.
Yeah.
Every one of these, if no matter if they have 40 acres, no matter if they have 20,000 acres, they are business owners. So we're going to talk about those market trends.
Who are we going to have on today?
We are going to have Nick Prenzlow on today.
Okay.
Very knowledgeable man.
He's a territory manager for DPA Auctions, is that right?
Yes, he is.
Sounds good. Well, we'll get Nick on here and ask him some questions.
Sounds good.
Well, we'd like to welcome Nick Prenzlow to the Dirt Exchange. Nick, you're a territory manager for DPA Auctions.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Well, perfect. Thanks for coming. We'll tell the tens of listeners that we may have a little bit of background on what you're all about.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, excited to be here. I know you guys want this to be successful, which is why I'm questioning why you had me on first. But no, been with DPA for, I don't know the exact date, probably about 12 years now.
Okay.
So
a lot of industry knowledge.
yeah, well, sure.
Yeah.
As much as 12 years can get you.
There you go.
Well,
what kind of trends are you seeing out there? I know, obviously, with being that weird year we've had, there's got to be a little disruption of the normal flow.
Yeah, there is. I was looking last night, and I don't have the exact source, but different year. A lot of things have happened, but actually, since 2000, on equipment that's 1 to 3 years old, there's actually been about a 230% increase.
Wow.
In 2000, so 19 years of
Yeah.
that type of equipment that's sold. So that gives you a little bit of an idea how things have changed.
Yeah.
As far as that goes. Newer equipment, guys just getting it. Obviously, a bunch of different factors, a lot of different problems. Guys sending stuff out there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, also, nice used load hour quality equipment is really, really selling well.
Yeah.
Holding value.
Yeah.
Which has been the case a lot of times, but even more so now because of the difference in the price of what you paid for it 10 years ago to what you do now.
Well, 40/20s.
Well,
They were less than 10 grand new, and some of them sell for 9-10 grand pretty easy now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you see people holding on to their machinery a little bit longer with some of the uncertainty that we've had?
Chris, I do, and not to sound too vague, but it's a case-by-case basis. Like you said with this year, normally guys that, they get out of bed and set their feet on the ground and they know what they got. They know what their costs are. They know what they got for inputs. And I think right now a lot of guys are just going to hold.
Yeah.
They don't know their guaranteed income. They don't know what they got out here, and what's going to be coming in. So I think a lot of guys are looking at their operation, looking at their partners, the wife, the kids, and saying, here's what we got. Let's ride this year out and evaluate next year. You're seeing a lot of that for sure,
Yeah. What's your take on guys that are going to hold the piece for a little bit longer rather than maybe moving it for, cash flow or operating cash type mentality?
Well, we could spend a lot of time on that if we wanted to. Again, it's a difference of opinion. I mean, I think for me, if I was looking at it, if you had to move some cash, you'll look at what are the critical, essential pieces to your operation that you got. A lot of guys are going to open up them doors to the shed and have that piece back there in the corner, those pieces back there in the corner, and say, okay, we really haven't used them.
Yeah, we haven't cut silage in 2 years.
We haven't done it. I know we're thinking we might have. We thought we could hold on to it, but we need the cash, so let's get rid of it.
Well, good.
A lot of guys are getting their hands forced that way that they might not have before. I guess that luxury to some isn't there.
Yeah.
Like it used to be.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, especially like I said, again, the year that we've had has kind of turned everybody around in their thinking. So hopefully we have a good harvest. And,
Oh, yeah.
and move everything through. I know there's a lot of optimism with a lot of these guys that are out there, and they're having to do things a little bit different. But the nice thing is it's kind of forcing them out of their comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah.
And kind of reinventing themselves a little bit. So
Making them. You got to sharpen the pencil.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
for sure. That's for sure. So-
Well, thanks for being our first guest.
No, absolutely.
We appreciate it. Hopefully we can have you back if they don't kill us.
If I didn't
and
butcher
take us off air.
If I didn't butcher it too bad, you might ask me back.
Yeah, I think it'll work. So, well, guys, that's it for the first and hopefully again not horrible episode of the Dirtcast, the Dirt Exchange podcast.
It helps. It helps when you get the name right. You
It
know,
does. It does.
It's all about name recognition.